She is the president and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce. Tara Tomcsik joins us right now from Troy. And Tara, how you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you very much for checking in. Had to be a big day yesterday in Troy as the restaurants and the retailers opened up. And, when I think of Troy, I think of the amazing restaurants, especially that have popped up in the last couple of years right along Big Beaver, which is becoming one of the best restaurant corridors in the state of Michigan. So, how are things going in Troy with the big opening yesterday?
It's great. It's funny. A lot of restaurants are still gradually opening. So some of them are opening up this week, some are opening today, some actually opened up on Monday, which those ones were extremely excited. And it was nice to see a good buzz going around Troy. But not only that, just driving down Big Beaver and seeing people on some of the patios. And it felt like the world was coming back, and it was really refreshing to see. Like I got an email yesterday, Ocean Prime is opening up today, and they've been shut the entire time. So we're ecstatic about that. I'm sure I'll hit there this week. Even like Park 600 at Royal Park, they're starting to get ready to open up on Wednesday. So there's a lot of buzz, and it's just really nice to see some of these outdoor dining options as well.
Well, and a lot of the restaurants did a good job with the pivot during the time they were closed. A lot of the restaurants had carry out. I think one of the best pivots in all of Metro Detroit was right in your backyard with Chick-fil-A at the Somerset Mall. They moved their whole operation from the food court out to a drive-through with tents and everything. I mean, they got a great brand, and everyone loves Chick-fil-A, right?
Yeah.
But they pivoted so well, didn't they?
They were, for me, I thought they were probably the most innovative and most inspiring, because I did obviously go through that line in the Somerset Collection parking lot, and they were always busy. And it was funny because you saw people so excited to still enjoy the restaurant that they love to go to. And Chick-fil-A, they stood out. They did a great job. And the staff remained what they're known best for, that strong hospitality model and the kindness and the courtesy. And it was just great for them to take that switch and kept, honestly, the Somerset collection alive as well, because it brought that energy to the collection. And I mean, I was super impressed with Chick-fil-A. They are wonderful members of ours, and you're just beyond impressed by what they were able to accomplish.
No, they did a really nice job, and we would be remiss if we did not take this opportunity to talk about the amazing things going on now. So while we were doing, this carry out time and the curbside and all of that, a lot of people improvised and did a really beautiful job. But now that we're open, we're seeing a lot of new approaches to making it work. Yesterday, we were at the Grill in Sylvan Lake, a really fine place on Orchard Lake Road. If you get a chance to go by there, say hello to Vicky and the whole team. And I think I mentioned this to you off the air that it was the Grill that introduced the COVID monster, the stuffed animal they put on their tables where you can't sit, okay? Because, we have more distancing now,
Yeah.
social distancing. So they've done a good job with that. And that's just one example of some of the really good creativity that we're going to see as we get back into the restaurants. Doing all they can to make it happen. Are the restaurateurs telling you that even though they're excited, they've got their hands full making their models work right now with 50% capacity at the best?
Well, and the thing is you're correct. Most of them are so ecstatic to just be open again. They miss their customers. They miss their patrons on a daily routine. But some of them, it financially still doesn't make sense for them to open until they get to a higher occupancy. Let's face it, it's a high rent district, and yes, they have to bring the revenue in, and curbside and takeout has been wonderful, but they need butts and seats is the nice way of saying it. But the thing is that some of them are struggling with getting their staff to come back on a timely manner. Some of them are still trying to understand the safety regulations. Some of them are trying to move their tables around so it looks more functional, because you don't want it to look like a crime scene. You're not going to put tape over and say, you can't sit here. So like you brought up about the Grill, finding those innovative ways to make your environment welcoming. And how do you deal with the clients and customers if they say, hey, I might be too close to that? There's a lot of conflict resolution models that they're working on as well. So I think from a magnitude, they're happy, but there's still a lot of things they have to figure out during this process.
Tara Tomcsik, she is the president and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, joining us today via Zoom. I am Dave Scott in our Troy studios via Zoom. Tyler Keith in our West Bloomfield studios, and we thank you for being wherever you happen to be. Big article, I want to say it was the Detroit News or one of the other outlets about the Stage Deli in West Bloomfield, another restaurant institution that so many people just like to go to for meetings, to get together with friends, to share their heritage and culture, and it was great to see their story as they opened up yesterday, and we're going to see a lot of other really great stories all across Metro Detroit. Tara, the one thing I want to just revisit with you and talk to you about again today, the efforts that are going on in Lansing with the State Liquor Control Commission to allow your restaurateurs in Troy and in other communities around Oakland County to be able to start serving more outside and also allow for some new carryout practices. Can you bring us up to date on where we're at with those new rules?
So I don't know how that all turned out yet. I do know we're all in support of that. I know a lot of our restaurants are advocating for that, and we're advocating on their behalf. So a lot of the aspects is we would like to see this happen, but it has to be done safely. So we're understanding of some of the timelines and restrictions currently, but we're already seeing some restaurants transition. So like Sedona, they now have a area where there's more seating outside. They were able to take over some sidewalks and things of that nature. So there are ways to do it, and we are being creative with that and sticking within the rules and regulations right now. But obviously, we would like to see some, I don't want to say alcohol on the streets, but that's the best way of saying
no.
it.
It's a tradition. It goes back to Europe and France of being at some little place, and you're sitting out in front and having a glass of wine and maybe a croissant or something. I don't know. I've never been to France, but they do that kind of thing there. So, we can do this here. We can do it in a sophisticated, elegant, and functional way. And then, it's awful fun. Our summers are so short here in Michigan. People love to get outside and maybe go to a restaurant where there is a lake view, get out on a balcony. And, there isn't a lake. We have Big Beaver Road in Troy, and we have Orchard Lake Road in West Bloomfield. There are lakes around, but a lot of these restaurants, they need a little more space so they can make it happen. And so it is requiring action from the LCC, action from the state, and action from the local municipalities. And for the most part, from municipality to municipality, there seems to be pretty strong support for figuring a way to make these kind of things happen to help the restaurants. But moreover, it creates a little buzz for our cities, something new, another fun reason to go out.
Well, and I will say the support of the city and the county has been wonderful because they are helping to push this initiative because the success of our restaurants is somewhat dependent on this. So it's a new buzz. It's new. It's exciting. I know I'm going to be sitting on some patios. I have kind of lunch plans every single day this week. So I'm excited to visit my restaurants again. And it's nice to know that the community is all supportive of this as well.
All right, we're going to talk to Kelly Woodley in a couple of minutes. She's the project manager at Orchard Mall as we switch back and forth all across Oakland County. We'll check in with her. And then we are going to talk to Dave Coulter, the county executive, before the show is over and get some feedback on how things are going here county-wide. The good news, we mentioned it earlier, but it's such good news, I don't mind mentioning it again. Restaurants can be pretty happy here because after a couple of weeks of the restaurants being open in northern Michigan, there's not been a big spike in cases, in COVID-19 cases. So clearly this can all get done in a manner that is going to be healthy as long as we all do everything that we're doing. When you went out to the restaurants and you've been going out, have you seen the restaurants, everyone wearing their masks and making the extra effort to make sure that everyone's taking all the necessary precautions?
Yeah, I've seen safety shine. So every place that I visited, I've seen safety be in the forefront. The one thing I would say is, as a patron and as a consumer, to be patient with these businesses. They're learning some things as they go as well. Their staff just came in to learn how to do certain things of how they're going to wear their masks at all times. They're still figuring things out. So go to these restaurants, enjoy the restaurant, enjoy the food, enjoy the staff, but be patient as well. This is a learning period for them as well.
So we're making progress, but everything isn't open yet. And there was an article in one of our major metropolitan papers today about the work that's going on with the organizations that hold big events around Detroit. We're talking Arts, Beats, and Eats and the like all around Metro Detroit. A lot of the downtown Detroit festivals and other activities. And I know over the past several years, and you probably before all this happened, had some outdoor fun activities going on in Troy. Are we going to see anything? Do you have any update or any idea of how plans are going for anything else that might be going on outside this summer? Is it still too early to know?
It's still too early to know. I'm seeing a lot more plans around September. So early September, we're looking at some more fall activities. The chamber itself, we postponed all of our pretty much in-person events with the exception of maybe some walking tours and things like that. We can have conversation, but our bigger events, I mean, one of our events traditionally brings almost 500 people in, and we've had to postpone it. And we're hopeful to have it in September, but everything's kind of up in the air. The feedback we're getting is people want to get out there, but they want to do it safely, and they're still not yet comfortable for the larger based events. So we're going to work as good as we can and work with the people in their comfort zones as well.
Tara, anything else you want to say before we say so long? Maybe another plug for Troy and all your businesses or anything else that is on your mind today?
Yeah, well, one of the things we are doing, again, the Troy Chamber of Commerce, if you go to their website, we do have a COVID resource page. So we're updating that with restaurant information. But one of the other things is we're seeing a lot of industries looking for PPE products. We're compiling that as well. So people will be able to go and look at who's supplying them and make it a little more simplified. Also, with that being said, you may want to reach, when you see Dave, they actually just announced a really great grant for nonprofit organizations. And the Troy Chamber is known for having a very large resource of nonprofits. So there is going to be a great grant around funding nonprofits. I believe it's $10 million from the county and United Way of South Michigan.
All right, listen, when I get Colter on in a couple of minutes, I'm going to tell him you stole his headline from him.
Take it. Is it? Well, good, because it's important to support our nonprofits. And I was really grateful to see that.
It's been way out of the media for the past several days. It's good of you to mention it. And we know you do have a lot of great nonprofits in Troy. And glad to see that you're happy with that county program. So we'll talk to Dave.
For sure.
We'll tell him you said hello. Tara, thank you very much for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Thanks. See you guys.
She is the president and CEO of the Troy Chamber, joining us here today.